Justice for all.
Roll call.
Commissioner McConnell.
Present, K-Pac.
Commissioner Baldwin.
Present, Fort Gratiot Township, St. Clair County, Michigan.
Commissioner Heidemann.
Present, Alexandria, Virginia.
Commissioner Dunn.
Present, Marysville, Michigan.
Commissioner Greatop.
Present, Clay Township, Michigan.
Chairman Bohm.
Present, Bill Greatop, Spare Office. Okay. Items 3, additions,
I
deletions.
think you missed me, Jay.
Did I miss you? I'm sorry, Commissioner Rushing. You're right. I skipped right over you. You're so quiet.
Riley Township here.
Gotcha. Sorry about that, Dave.
Okay. Item 3, additions, deletions, changes to the agenda, items A through C.
Mr. Chairman, at this time, I would move that we add the Community Mental Health Board appointment as 11Z, the Community Development Block Grant Act Agreement as item 11AA, and the interlocal agreement for the designated assessor as item 11AB.
Support, Dunn.
Discussion. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Approval of the agenda.
Dunn.
Greatop.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Minutes of previous meetings, items A and B.
Mr. Chairman, at this time, I move to approve the file minutes of 10/15/20 Commissioner meeting and 11/5/20 Standing Committee meeting.
Support, McConnell.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? No proclamations. Consent agenda, items A through L.
Mr. Chairman, at this time, I move to approve items A through L on the consent agenda.
Support, Rushing.
Discussion on any of these?
Just one question on the post-closure letter. We had that study on the post-closure. Was that ever completed?
Well, post-closure liability always changes with capacity, Howard, as you all know, and I know I can't give you a very good answer that it was. Obviously, I think we all know when we put the bioreactor in, we were able to extend the life of it. And I guess, Carrie, I would direct you to just check with Matt for curiosity's sake.
I'll
Yes.
check with Carrie.
Yep. So we do, the post-closure liability is updated annually. We're required to get new numbers as part of our annual audit. So that calculation is done annually, usually around February or March.
Okay, thank you.
All in favor, consent agenda?
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Items 8, reports and standing special committees. Item A, just a little thing. You saw the memo that I had put in the package requesting assistance from the Community Foundation to participate in the Wrigley Center project. Myself, Carrie Hepting, Larry Jones, Gary Fletcher sat down, call it a week ago, and we went over the pro forma. As you know, these projects are very difficult to put together. A lot of moving pieces, historical tax credits, brownfields, MEDC grants. Some of you may have seen the flow chart on it. It's just, it even confuses you even more when you see money's in, money's out. After going through that, there's roughly a $350,000 shortfall, which is ironically the purchase price on that. And the Community Foundation had expressed an interest previously to participate in this project. As you well know, they participate in a lot of economic development initiatives throughout the county. So what I wanted to do was just send them a letter on behalf of the county and the developer asking to participate in this, which is arguably a $13 to $14 million redevelopment. I know a lot of probably everyone on this call has seen the renderings and what they want to do with it. It's pretty amazing. So I just wanted to, I don't even know if we really need a yay or a nay. If there's anybody that's opposed to me sending this letter, speak up now or forever hold your peace.
Go for it, Jeff.
Okay.
Jay, I would ask you, would a motion be in order to forward a letter?
Really, it's not an agenda item. It's just a discussion about the process.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Okay. That's it. Thank you, gentlemen. Moving on, the citizens wishing to address the board at this time. No, citizens, item 10A, the unfinished business Parks and Recreation, the bylaws revised.
Mr. Chairman, at this time, I would move to accept administration's rewritten bylaws.
I will support.
Okay, now discussion. Who wants to go?
I just have we're gonna be getting a new park director at some point in the near future. We're getting a new commissioner that's gonna be representing Howard's spot on that board, and that'll be a new replacement. I just personally would like to see us just hold off on this issue right now. I don't see where there's any dire move to have to remove the people that have been around and doing a lot of work. There's a lot of things going on with the interviews of all the civil engineering interviews that we have set up for December 3rd and 10th, I believe maybe are the dates. I forget exactly, but they're coming up, and there's people that are alternates have been serving on that portion. And there's been hours and hours and hours of work put into that. And if we just ask them not to give of their free time anymore, it makes no sense to me right now at this point. But that's my opinion. So I will be voting no on this.
Yeah, Greg, I would rely on you and Howard. I personally, in 16 years, I think I may have attended one or two of their meetings. We've always had representation from the board. So I would lean on people that have actually been part of that. I would probably concur with you, Commissioner McConnell. We are going to be looking to get a new Parks and Rec director. We do have a couple new commissioners coming on board if they feel that's something prudent to address it at that time. To me, it's nothing. It's time sensitive. I guess I'll throw it over to you for a second, Howard. And what's your you've been on it for a long time.
I think Greg said it very well, and I think now is the time to vote no and see what shakes out in the new year.
Okay.
So I think the only concern I have, and when I'm looking at the email that was sent from Mr. Beer to Chairperson Bohm, he stated that he missed the meeting, but then had some misunderstandings that he wanted to correct. And part of it was apparently Commissioners Rushing and Baldwin are of the impression that I have been voting at park board meetings in this interim since Peter has been appointed. Certain things, I haven't been involved in these, and I don't really care to be involved if it's being handled. I think what was brought before us was that there were alternates appointed that didn't follow the bylaws and how they were supposed to be appointed. So I guess I was in obviously under Article 5, I think Section 5, the alternate does vote in place of their delegate, which is generally how alternates work. So I do understand that that's how these boards generally operate. You have alternates so that they can take the place of the delegate. They wouldn't both get a vote if they're both there. What it sounds like to me is that there have been some people appointed not following their own procedures. So I think when it first came up, it's either change the bylaws to get rid of alternates, or if you have alternates and they're supposed to be appointed by the County Board of Commissioners, then that process needs to happen. I don't know that I care either way, but I think if there's something on the books that says if you're going to be an alternate, you're supposed to be appointed by the Board of Commissioners, then that part should be happening. My understanding is there are several that it didn't follow that process. So if there are people who've been involved, like Commissioner Heidemann, Commissioner McConnell, and you feel like the alternates are, need to be there, that's great. But then let's follow the process. So that was my concern, was following the process.
Commissioner, great job.
Yeah, I would concur with kind of what George has said there too. I really don't care which way this goes. I put it out there to put it on the table so that we could vote on it one way or the other. If we vote it down and we don't do away with the alternates, then I think our next step would be to have administration line up those people who are alternates, and then we would have to vote on them individually. And I think Commissioner Rushing made a motion similar to that once before.
David?
Yeah, and this Bill has brought up a very good point. And what happened with the current alternate, he was in view of it, he was removed and replaced with another person. Directly after that, what happened is the Park and Rec reappointed him as an alternate without going through the full board. And I think that's what brought this about. And that is a concern when we have somebody that hasn't followed procedures. And that's what I think Bill was his concern, is that the Park and Rec are not following their own policies. And if we were to correct it this way with no alternates, that would correct it. But, same thing here. I could go either way. I think the situation needs to be corrected. If the Park and Rec hasn't done it in the past, can we trust them to do it in the future? Or do we need to make sure that we do our job, and alternates are not going to be showing up as alternates unless they're approved by the full board?
And actually, I misspoke. It's Article 8, Section 4, that the alternate votes in the absence of the member. And it's Article 5, Section 5, that the alternate representing a delegate should be approved by the Board of Commissioners. So those are the parts of the bylaws that they're on the books. I didn't write them, but.
Yeah. And that's arguably the part that we haven't been following with that. So it's not necessarily having alternates, it's the way that how the alternates are getting put on the board. That's the overarching concern that I'm hearing from the commissioners.
And keep in mind that those members of the Park and Rec Commission that are there because of state statute, for example, the Drain Commissioner, he has the authority to appoint whomever he wants as his alternate. We don't have a vote on that. The same thing with Metropolitan Planning. They pick the alternate from Metropolitan Planning. The ones that we pick as Board of Commissioners are the ones that we've appointed. A road commission picks their alternate, and so on.
Right.
I trust the Park and Rec Commission to do what's right. There's some really dedicated volunteers there, but on the same token, we need to make it very clear that the procedure is you go to the Board of Commissioners for approval of appointments.
I think I'm hearing the same thing from everybody. So if we voted this down, we could just give administration the direction to, I don't know, it's already on the books, follow through. Maybe we reappoint the alternates, take a look at that. Kerry could come back with a recommendation on that.
If I could, Jeff.
Yeah.
Howard just confused me. You're telling me that alternates are required by state statute for the Drain Commissioner and the road commissioners that serve on there, and we have no say in that?
That's correct.
I would like Kerry to verify that. I'm happy with the way it is, and that any other alternates get full board approval. But I'd like to have that verified, because that doesn't seem to be in compliance or in line with the current bylaws.
Okay. And take a look into it. I guess enough on this. I'm going to call for the vote. Roll call.
Commissioner Rushing.
I'm going to vote no.
Commissioner Heidemann.
No.
Commissioner Dunn.
No.
Commissioner Greatop.
Yes, no.
Commissioner McConnell.
No.
Commissioner Baldwin.
No.
Chairman Bohm.
No. Okay,
Motion
item
failed.
11A, county disbursements.
Mr. Chairman, at this time, I move to approve county disbursements in the amount of $55,290,165.37.
Support Rushing.
Discussion. Roll call.
Commissioner McConnell.
Yes.
Commissioner Dunn.
Yes.
Commissioner Greatop.
Yes.
Commissioner Baldwin.
Yes.
Commissioner Rushing.
Yes.
Commissioner Heidemann.
Yes.
Chairman Bohm.
Yes. Item 11B, resolution 2020 establishing per diems for boards and commissions.
Mr. Chairman, at this time, I move to adopt resolution 20-21 establishing per diems for boards and commissions.
Support.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Resolution 20-22 waiving interest earned.
Mr. Chairman, at this time, I move to approve
Oh,
resolution.
I'm sorry, I picked county at large. Back up. My fault. 11C, resolution 2023 county at large.
Mr. Chairman, at this time, I move to adopt resolution 2023 approving the annual county at-large drain assessment in the amount of $591,400 $44.51.
Baldwin support.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Resolution 20-22.
Mr. Chairman, at this time, I move to approve Resolution 2022 waiving investment interest earned on taxes collected for local units.
Second, Heidemann.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Item E, Resolution 20-24.
Mr. Chairman, at this time, I move to adopt Resolution 2024 adopting the 80/20 cost sharing model.
Support Rushing.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Those opposed? Resolution 2025, budget adoption.
Mr. Chairman, at this time, we move to adopt Resolution 2025 adopting the 2021 general fund budget.
Support Rushing.
Discussion. I'd be remiss if
I just want to say thanks to Carrie and her entire staff for putting that together. We've talked about it repeatedly, Jeff. We don't want to hear your stories again, but
I'm going to tell it anyway.
we know how it used to be. So I thought if I jumped in first, I could keep you from telling us your old stories, but
I don't think either Jeff or I missed those 4-hour budget
Oh,
meetings.
man, you want to talk about battle royal. Woo! You guys don't know how good you guys got it, just for the record. But anyways, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Those opposed? Item G, the Blue Cross Blue Shield 2021 renewal.
Mr. Chairman, at this time, I move to approve Blue Cross Blue Shield 2021 renewal documents as presented.
Support McConnell.
Discussion. Carrie, I think we just had like a small 0.5% kind of increase in this.
Yep, little less than 0.5% this year or for next year.
Yeah,
That-
that's awesome.
That's 2 years in a row. That's amazing. Very, very good.
Well, that's part of being self-insured. And I remember, Jay, you had called me years ago when you first came over from Clay Township and you guys were buying your insurance and you questioned the cost per, and it was like, no, this is how it is, similar things. We were substantially less just because, we worked, self-insured pool worked well for us. Do we need a roll call on that, Jay?
Good.
All right, roll call.
Commissioner Rushing,
Yes.
Commissioner Greatop,
Yes.
Commissioner Heidemann,
Yes.
Commissioner Dunn,
Yes.
Commissioner McConnell,
Yes.
Commissioner Baldwin,
Yes.
Chairman Bohm.
Yes. Item H, the landfill materials procurement.
Mr. Chairman, at this time, I move to approve the landfills, materials, and delivery agreement with asphalt trucks in the amount not to exceed $357,250 and Pearson Pit Trucking in an amount not to exceed $211,750 for both the term of 12/1/20 through 11/30/21.
Support Dunn.
Discussion. Roll call.
Commissioner Baldwin,
Yes.
Commissioner Dunn,
Yes.
Commissioner Greatop,
Yes.
Commissioner Rushing,
Yes.
Commissioner Heidemann,
Yes.
Commissioner McConnell,
Yes.
Chairman Bohm.
Yes. Item I, the interagency agreement.
Mr. Chairman, at this time, we move to approve the interagency agreement between the Health Department, Community, Mental Health, and K-PAC School District for nursing services in the amount of $40,000.
Support Rushing.
Discussion. Roll call.
Commissioner Heidemann,
Yes.
Commissioner Dunn,
Yes.
Commissioner Greatop,
Yes.
Commissioner Baldwin,
Yes.
Commissioner McConnell,
Yes.
Commissioner Rushing,
K-PAC grad says yes.
Chairman Bohm.
Yes. Item J, the interagency agreement.
Mr. Chairman, at this time, I move to approve the interagency agreement between the Health Department, Community Mental Health, and Marysville School District for nursing services in the amount of $40,000.
Second, Heidemann.
Discussion. Roll call.
Commissioner McConnell,
Yes.
Commissioner Greatop,
Yes.
Commissioner Baldwin,
Yes.
Commissioner Rushing,
Yes.
Commissioner Heidemann,
Yes.
Commissioner Dunn,
Yes.
Chairman Bone.
Yes. Item K, the Health Department agreement.
Mr. Chairman, at this time, we move to approve the agreement between the Health Department and Cape School District for the operation of a mental health treatment site in the amount of $100,000 annually.
Support Rushing.
Discussion. Roll call.
Dunn,
Yes.
Commissioner Baldwin,
Yes.
Commissioner Heidemann,
Yes.
Commissioner McConnell,
Yes.
Commissioner Rushing,
Yes.
Commissioner Greatop,
Yes.
Chairman Bone.
Yes. Item L, the Health Department staff development day closure.
Mr. Chairman, at this time, we move to approve the Health Department request to close at noon on December 11th, 2020 for staff development.
Second, Heidemann.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Item M, the 2021 mental health court grant.
Mr. Chairman, at this time, I move to approve the Michigan Mental Health Court Grant Program Agreement for fiscal year 2021 in the amount of $337,661.
Support Dunn.
Discussion. Roll call.
Commissioner Baldwin,
Yes.
Commissioner Greatop,
Yes.
Commissioner Rushing,
Yes.
Commissioner Heidemann,
Yes.
Commissioner Dunn,
Yes.
Commissioner McConnell,
Yes.
Chairman Bone.
Yes. Item N, 2021 community mental health agreement.
Mr. Chairman, at this time, I move to approve the Recovery Court Subcontract Agreement with the St. Clair County Community Mental Health Authority for fiscal year 2021 in the amount of $20,744.54.
Baldwin, support.
Discussion. Roll call.
Commissioner Heidemann,
Yes.
Commissioner Rushing,
Yes.
Commissioner Dunn,
Yes.
Commissioner McConnell,
Yes.
Commissioner Greatop, Commissioner Baldwin,
Yes.
Chairman Bone.
Yes. Item O, the sheriff contract for China Township.
Mr. Chairman, at this time, I move to approve the agreement for law enforcement services with Charter Township of China for a term of 1/1/21 through 12/31/23 in the total amount of $538,032.
Support McConnell.
Discussion. Roll call.
Commissioner Heidemann,
Yes.
Commissioner Baldwin,
Yes.
Commissioner McConnell,
Yes.
Commissioner Greatop,
Yes.
Commissioner Rushing,
Yes.
Commissioner Dunn,
Yes.
Chairman Bone.
Yes. Item P, the sheriff contract for the Charter Township of Fort Gratiot.
Mr. Chairman, at this time, I move to approve the agreement for law enforcement services with the Charter Township of Fort Gratiot for a term of 1/1/21 through 12/31/23 in the total amount of $2,967,133.
Baldwin, support.
Discussion. Roll call.
Commissioner McConnell,
Yes.
Commissioner Baldwin,
Yes.
Commissioner Rushing,
Yes.
Commissioner Greatop,
Yes.
Commissioner Heidemann,
Yes.
Commissioner Dunn,
Yes.
Chairman Bone.
Yes. Item R, Bridge to Bay Trail Wayfinding.
Q, we need to do Q.
Oh, Q, I'm sorry, the capital improvement.
Mr. Chairman, at this time, I move to approve the 2021 through 2025 capital improvement program as presented. Support, Dunn.
Discussion. All in
I just
favor?
have,
Oh, I'm sorry, David.
yeah, I just have one, but I can talk to Carrie on that. It's the same issue that's come up with the Columbus Park there, and it's a $350,000 item, but that's in 2024, and she can give me the rundown on that.
Fair enough. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Item R, Bridge to Bay Trail Wayfinding.
Mr. Chairman, at this time I move to approve the $50,000 contribution from the Metropolitan Planning Commission and the Parks and Recreation Commission toward the Bridge to Bay Trail wayfinding, signage, and safety project.
Excuse me. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? No, actually, it's supposed to be roll call, but item S, North Channel.
Roll
Steve.
call on if you want. Can we run one, Jeff?
Yeah, run a roll call quick, just to be proper.
Commissioner Rushing,
Yes.
Commissioner Greatop,
Yes.
Commissioner Heidemann,
Yes.
Commissioner Baldwin,
Yes.
Commissioner Dunn,
Yes.
Commissioner McConnell, Chairman Bowman.
Yes. Item S, North Channel Stevenson property lease.
Mr. Chairman, at this time I move to approve the land lease with the Six Rivers Land Conservancy for the Stevenson property located in Clay Township in the amount of $50,000.
Second,
Support,
Heidemann.
Commissioner Greatop.
Yeah, I just want to say that this is just one more step in the long plan that's been in the works for about 8 years. We did get the Stilson property. This is just an addition. If you don't remember it, it takes the property on the south end of the Stilson property and moves it all the way over to the fence line with the DNR launch site. They call it the North Channel launch site, and it goes all the way down to the river. So it really kind of completes that entire side of what we're going to need for that particular piece. And as a side note, sometime in probably in December, I think we will probably be going to Lansing for the drawings or for the awards of the grants that we've submitted for the other properties. So stay tuned. Before the end of the year, we hope to have that all locked up for you guys.
Yeah, I give you a lot of credit, Bill. It's a long time that you're working on this. I know we looked at a lot of other pieces down here. We kept coming back to that same piece, kept coming back to that same piece. And at the end of the day, it is the right piece. And I saw it was on the front of the Parks and Rec brochure the other day that went out to everybody to talk about that. So kudos to you, Mr. Greatop.
Thank you,
I just
sir.
want to say thank you to Bill also. A lot of
Thanks,
work
Ed.
he put in on that.
Anything else? Roll call.
Commissioner Dunn,
Yes.
Commissioner McConnell,
Yes.
Commissioner Heidemann,
Yes.
Commissioner Baldwin,
Yes.
Commissioner Rushing,
Yes.
Commissioner Greatop,
Yes.
Chairman Bowman.
Yes. So item T, the lot 10 ground lease.
Mr. Chairman, at this time, I move to approve the non-aeronautical lease agreement with Robert L. Batten and Marie J. Batten, revocable trust for the Air Industrial Park Lot 10 for the term of 7/10/20 through 7/10/50 in the amount of $136,125.
Support, Rushing.
Discussion. Roll call.
Commissioner Greatop,
Yes.
Commissioner McConnell,
Yes.
Commissioner Dunn,
Yes.
Commissioner Baldwin,
Yes.
Commissioner Rushing,
Yes.
Commissioner Heidemann,
Yes.
Chairman Bowman.
Yes. V. Ground lease.
Should be you.
Two.
Oh, you. I'm sorry. I'm all over the board. I can't read great. Great Top gave you the cheat sheet here, and my eyes are bad. So,
What'd you say?
you. That's my hearing too.
All right, read one of them for me, Jeff, and I'll follow you.
Item U.
All right, at this time, I move to approve the non-aeronautical lease with Robert L. Batten and Marie J. Batten Revocable Trust for the Air Industrial Park Lot 9 for a term of 1/1/21 through 12/31/51 in the amount of $136,125.
Second, done.
Set.
Discussion.
Are those upfront paid leases?
No, I don't believe so. I think they're paid annually.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else? Roll call.
Commissioner Rushing,
Yes.
Commissioner Dunn,
Yes.
Commissioner Heidemann, Commissioner Baldwin,
Yes.
Commissioner McConnell,
Yes.
Commissioner Greatop,
Yes.
Chairman Bone.
Yes. We're on W, correct?
V, Victor
V.
V.
All right. I'm scratching notes all over. I apologize. A little sloppy here. V, private hangar lease for Tom's.
Mr. Chairman, at this time, I move to approve the private hangar ground lease with Robert and Cheryl Toms for a term of 10/5/20 through 10/4/50 in the total amount of $72,000.
Baldwin support.
Discussion. Roll call.
Commissioner Heidemann,
Yes.
Commissioner Greatop,
Yes.
Commissioner Baldwin,
Yes.
Commissioner Rushing,
Yes.
Commissioner Dunn,
Yes.
Commissioner McConnell,
Yes.
Chairman Bone.
Yes. X.
W.
W. Jesus.
Mr. Chairman, at this time, I move to approve the agreement with Tree Works
Oh,
Incorporated
dyslexic tonight.
for runway 22 tree removal in the amount not to exceed $24,000.
Second, Dunn.
Discussion. Roll call.
Commissioner Rushing,
Yes.
Commissioner Heidemann, Commissioner McConnell,
Yes.
Commissioner Greatop,
Yes.
Commissioner Dunn,
Yes.
Commissioner Baldwin,
Yes.
Commissioner Bone.
Yeah. X, the survey and remonumentation.
Mr. Chairman, at this time, I move to approve the 2021 survey and remonumentation grant amount in the amount of $80,316.
Support,
Baldwin.
Rushing.
Heidemann?
Discussion. Roll call.
Commissioner McConnell,
Yes.
Commissioner Dunn,
Yes.
Commissioner Greatop,
Yes.
Commissioner Baldwin,
Yes.
Commissioner Heidemann, Commissioner Rushing,
Yes.
Chairman Bone.
Yes. The resolution 2042.
Mr. Chairman, at this time, I move to adopt Resolution 2042, Michigan Lighthouse Assistance Program Grant Application.
Second, Heidemann?
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed. Item 11Z, which is Community Health Board appointment.
Mr. Chairman, at this time, I move to appoint Chief Joseph Platzer to the Community Mental Health Authority Board representing District 2 for the remainder of a 3-year term expiring 3/31/21, excuse me.
Baldwin support.
Discussion.
I think
All in favor?
Chief is going to be an awesome addition to that board.
Good. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Item 11A, the Community Block CARES Act grant agreement.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the Community Development Block Grant, also known as CDBG CARES Act Grant Agreement in the amount of $442,810.14.
Support McConnell.
Discussion. Just applying for the grant. So, I'm sorry. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed. The designated assessor.
Mr. Chairman, at this time, I move to approve the interlocal agreement approving Kelly Tim as the designated assessor for St. Clair County for the term of 1/1/21 through 12/31/25.
Support McConnell.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed. Administrators report.
Couple things for you this evening. Wanted to give you a quick update on where we're at with union negotiations. We have settled or have a tentative agreement with all of our bargaining units except for 2. We do have dates scheduled with those groups, so we do hope to have completed agreements for all the bargaining units for you at your December 10th meeting. Last month, the Michigan Indigent Defense Commission and LARA approved the implementation of Standard 5. As you may recall, back in 2012-13, when the Indigent Defense Commission, they came forward with 8 standards for indigent defense that governments were going to have to comply with. The first 4 have been adopted and implemented, and now Standard 5, which is independence from the judiciary. We will be required to submit a compliance plan, and that would be included for starting October 1st of 2021. Luckily, with the creation of our public defender's office, it should be pretty seamless to implement this. There are still some functions with appointing court-appointed attorneys that are happening in the courts, but I don't see this as being a significant change or a significant financial change to our existing budget for the public defender's office. At our central dispatch meeting this month, Director Bricker spoke to us about the Smart 911 system. Back in 2017, the county signed on to the Smart 911 system, and it was funded through the state of Michigan. Beginning next year in 21, the state of Michigan will no longer be funding that program. Tina was able to provide us with some statistics and usage on the Smart 911 and the benefits of the system. So we will be proposing an agreement or bringing forward an agreement to the board next month that we continue that at the county's expense. It would be $12,000 per year, and we do have to sign up a 5-year commitment. So we will be bringing that to you next month for your consideration. I know Commissioner McConnell, he was there and involved in the discussions as well. And I think the CDA board all felt that it was a valuable tool for dispatchers and for our citizens. We have received interest in our final wetland credit in the county's wetland bank. This project was started about 20 years ago. It's taken a very long time to get to completion, but we are fairly close to selling that last credit. So we will have all the credits sold in our bank, and we are kind of excited to see that project complete. We have, last month, I wrote a letter of support for CTI, our landfill engineers. They are applying for a grant. They would like to do a study using our landfill to work for treatment of PFAS out of our leachate. So they have some, I'm not even going to go into the science or the technical piece of it, but they have been doing some work on our landfill for some sustainable PFAS treatment. So as I get more information on that, or if you would like more information, I could have Matt or Morgan do a presentation or provide you more information if you're interested.
Would you have charts with that presentation?
You would definitely have lots of charts and graphs.
Yeah.
Let's invite Tim.
Yeah.
And last, just an update on the Department of Health and Human Services and MIOSHA's recent announcements and standards. One of them is a focus on office work and remote work. So we are really stressing 2 departments to review their positions and to have employees that are able to work remotely, feasibly do their work remotely. So you will be seeing fewer people in all of our buildings. Many employees are cycling out, mostly hybrid, sometime in the office, sometime remote. As of right now, that is for 3 weeks. I think we all kind of expect that it's going to last longer than 3 weeks. But luckily, after the first round, we're a lot more prepared to have many employees work remotely. Our new phone system has provided us with a lot more options. You can answer your phone from your cell phone, just like you are at your desk. You can answer it on your computer or a mobile device. So it has provided a lot more options for employees and remote work. And that's all I have for this evening. Any questions?
I have a question, Carrie.
Yes.
You know, we have so many employees that have really put in a Herculean job on this COVID thing. And I'm wondering if there's any discretionary funding that could be used to compensate them for their Herculean efforts.
Well, many employees did receive who worked during the shutdown did receive premium pay per their union contracts. And then we did also apply for and receive the hazard pay grant that those eligible employees received as well.
Do that anyway.
For the hazard pay grant, that was public safety. So it would have been the sheriff's deputies, dispatchers, and jail staff.
I think you're probably going to see another wave of money coming to Howard that'll address some of these things, you know, eventually. It took a little while for it to flow into the county, but when it did hit, I think you'd probably be referring to like the health department, for example. I did receive a letter from them over there, you know, about the hours that they had to put in and stuff. So we're taking a look at it. I don't want to commit to anything just at this time, but I've had conversations with Carrie about it. So we'll keep you posted.
Okay, thank you.
Carrie, I had one question. Going back to the wetlands credit, you said that we've been at that for quite some time now. Is that something that we made money on, or was it more of a service that we provided? Did we lose money? How did that shake out in the end after getting rid of that last credit?
So this project, like I said, is about 20 years in the making. And when the county did enter into it, it was at the thought of as an economic development tool. At the time, there were not wetland credits available in the county. So that's why the project began. I would not say that the county made money off of it. I think it was more of a break even. However, it did help or assist with development. So in that sense, the county did come out ahead.
Now that we're out of credits, is there any thought of we should do this again?
Absolutely not.
No,
Don't Gary's putting this mild, all right? It was a cluster, you can fill in the blanks. But I have something that I'm going to share with you that, yes, we have another alternative in St. Clair County that I've just recently shared the information. So I'm going to get into that miscellaneous business.
Okay, thanks.
Anything else on administrator's report?
I move that we accept the administrator's report as presented.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Miscellaneous business. I got a couple things I'm going to actually talk about, and it's going to tie into what you had asked a question about. Great job. So St. Clair just, we had that large project that St. Clair was awarded back, I think it was on August 2nd. The developer themselves changed, instead of having a private investor to develop, they then decided that they're going to invest themselves. So instead of needing the whole 105 acres, they actually need about 80 of the acres, which is going to leave the city of St. Clair 25 acres that is going to be ready to be developed. As part of this 85, the company had to buy the last wetland credit that Carrie was referring to that the county had out there for, I think it was $100,000 if I'm not mistaken. So yes, having that readily available. If you remember, the county actually participated and cleared that property probably 6 to 8 years ago, okay? This is another example of us being proactive, needing to participate in these types of things, because this project literally came down to 3 different locations, 2 in Michigan, 1 in Ohio, and this project had to go now. There was no waiting around. There was no, we got to go through wetland mitigation, we got to do this. So that just shows you the substantial or significant or urgency, for better lack of choice of words, of having these ready developable sites. Problem that we have today, if that same exact company came to St. Clair County tomorrow, we have nowhere to put that thing, okay? So that'll be part of one of the things we're going to talk about in the new year, is how creative, working with EDA, private, so on and so forth, because literally we have nowhere that we could put that particular company, which is our largest, going to be one of our largest non-utility taxpayers in St. Clair County. It's either going to be number 1 or 2. It's $110 million in investment. Okay. So as we went through this process, there's a group that has developed a wetland bank down on Chartier Road in Cotcherville Township. Chris Cousineau, along with Chris Parrott, along with Ron Akavati, those guys, they had some properties and they have just recently got approval. I think they're 2 to 3 weeks away from getting the final stamp of approval on a wetland bank located in Cotcherville Township of 20 acres currently. They have another 20 in the works, and they have a lot of other property that they can even go even more. That particular watershed that's in Cotcherville Township will also satisfy developments in Macomb, Oakland. It's a pretty big stretch when you look at the map on what you can use those credits to buy for. And the guys that are putting this in are very experienced developers, have lots of projects, other places, so on and so forth. But the moral of the story is, Bill, we do have somewhere now to turn to for if we got to go and get a wetland credit, that's going to be taken care of. So the county doesn't have to screw around with it. It's done. And, you know, if we were in a situation which we didn't have, that's a different conversation. But so that's kind of where we sit today. One last item in front of God and everybody. I'm sorry.
It's good to know that there is a place to go on this stuff. When you have that situation, you don't want to lose economic development because you don't have that bank. But if these guys are doing it, we're good.
Yeah, for sure. And I was saying the last thing here in front of God and everybody, and especially Dave Rushing, I lied to everybody when I sent those pictures of those 2 big deer that I shot the other night. Those were not my deer. I know Dave was in a panic when he saw that, but I did call up and fess up. So I didn't sleep very well the last couple nights. So that was not neither one of those are my deer that I shot, Dave.
Continuing on with miscellaneous business, Jeff, you skipped over all the commissioner reports if anybody had anything from the thing. So I would just like to report that it has taken me almost 2 years, but I have now got the water down about 15 inches at the south end of the county. So the flooding issue has kind of resolved, but it took me almost 2 years to get that down. But I just want to report that we do now have it down about 15 inches, and most everybody's pretty comfortable.
I got to tell you, out by my house, it's probably more like 2.5, 3 feet. You know, it was darn near at the top of the deal, and it is way down up there in East China. So
last weekend it didn't look like that, Bill.
No, you were getting the south end stuff blown. Yeah, he's at ground zero down there. So that's Jay.
Yeah, well, he had the strong south winds these last couple of days.
We were down
That's
15 inches. Disaster.
Yeah. Any other miscellaneous business that any of the commissioners would like to bring before the board?
Well, I just want to reiterate what Carrie said at our PDA meeting when we were talking about the Smart 911. It was, we don't want to just put this on for 5 more years and it's going to have some reporting done with it and some urgency to the people that if they don't use it, we're going to lose it because I don't know, we didn't keep good track of it. And sometimes when you're not paying for things, it's easy to overlook them. But if we commit to the $60,000 for 5 years, it's a great program. Anybody that had signed up, we didn't want to pull the rug out from underneath them, but maybe we can get more people to utilize the services and have a little bit of a check and balance so that we can at least show that when we're paying this kind of money that is justifiable. So,
Jeff, I had one more item I wanted to share, and that was on broadband. We've talked about this repeatedly, and it's come to light, and it's become more prevalent now than ever with people working from home, people having school from home, and in many cases, it's going to be at least until January before we know anything at all for sure whether they can go back to school. And we are not going to get it in that amount of time. But I do want to let you know that Reese is working very hard. The committee is working very hard. Dan Casey's on top of this stuff. We're chasing all over the place. We've got some good leads going. So even though broadband has been a target of discussion for a long time, I think that just circumstances are to the point that we are probably going to start making some moves right now. We're starting to find some things that are going to make this work, but you can't sell your house. And Jeff and I have talked about this repeatedly. You cannot sell your house in St. Clair County or anywhere for that matter if you don't have broadband or you don't have internet connection. You will not sell your house, period. End of discussion. So we are working on that.
RISA does have, and I don't know if that's what you're referring to, but they're gonna have some areas where they're gonna be able to go where their trunk line is right now and put some, for lack of better words, they're gonna put some, out there where people are gonna be able to go and park a car and be close enough where they can get some online services. So if you had somebody that was in an area that didn't have availability, you know, whether it be near the school parking lots or wherever, they could go and at least try to get some type of service.
Right, and they've actually formed, Greg, a 501c4 separate corporation that is going to run, you're on their board up there. Dennis asked me today if I could sit on one of his boards for that 501c4 on the internet piece. So we're getting more and more activity and moving a little bit better, but with that particular piece, they'll be able to service some businesses and then they can branch off from that. REITs is not supposed to make money on the service they provide, but with this other corporation, they'll be able to at least fund the development of more fiber being strung across the county.
Sure, that's all good.
Yes, it is. Very good.
And necessary.
Okay, anything else? All right, receive and file.
Make a motion to receive and file.
Or
All in favor?
All right.
Adjournment.
Thanks for coming, guys.
Take care. Be safe.